Alrighty, welcome to Sunday. It is Father's Day. Seems like a good day to honor our fathers. I hope you have yours with you. I still have my dad around. He's 97 years old. This is World War II. I actually colorized this picture because it was an old picture from back when I think he was in New York in one of the medical hospitals. But World War II, and I colorized it, and that's Dad. You can kind of look alike a little bit, right? Pretty much, but he's 97 today. He had a heart attack when he was 38, so he was kind of one of those kind of Frank Sinatra hard-living dudes. And then he figured it out. He started eating this sort of Mediterranean diet back in 1967 and never stopped. And worked out a little bit, but not a lot, and just was fairly healthy. He's a pretty amazing guy. This is a shot I always talk about when they lived in the valley, but this is in Yosemite Valley, if you will, and they used to go down. Dad's dad was a teacher, and so this is Dad right here. Dad's dad was a teacher, and that's obviously the guy behind him, and they would stay the entire summer in the valley, which is unimaginable nowadays. But what's interesting about this, if you can picture that valley, it's probably 1932, maybe? I should know the math on this. I don't know how old he is, maybe 1935. But he is a young man, and they would spend day after day hiking, fishing, whatever. And he told me, he said, there were people all over the valley back then in Yosemite Valley, because a lot of the San Franciscans would take the summer, especially the teachers. They would pack up and they would head into the valley. And so there were a lot of people, because it wasn't like, because I picture this like, oh, there's nobody there. He goes, no, there are a lot of people there. He, avid hunter, avid fisherman, moved to Paradise, I think in 1955. That's that town that burned down. But it was pretty cool. He was kind of like a surfer, but not really a surfer. Grew up in West Portal. But the thing that was cool about him was veterinarian, right? And I know hunting isn't all that well thought of, but he's the guy. He would kill a deer or a buck. He would use the horns. He would use the eyelids. He would use the hooves. He would, honest to God, and he would tie his own flies with the fur from the deer and the elk. And so it was kind of an Indian thing. So I learned a lot about nature from him. And he was a tough guy. Jeez. But I got to tell you, man, I mean, the guy, talk about a true Californian. This guy is absolutely dyed in the wool, 100%. I mean, I'm 5th generation. My kids are 6th generation. His family had been here since the 1880s, 1870s. That's a few years back. That's when he's about my age, actually. He's a good-looking guy. And then this was just the other day. We're both looking very serious, but we do this move where we go down to Santa Cruz. He can't walk anymore, so he can kind of walk. But I wheel him out onto the pier, and we just watch waves. It's awesome. His memory's going a little bit, but he's in the moment, which is, to see that is pretty cool. So I hope you got your dad with you today. It's hard being a dad. I mean, it's not... he and I didn't really get along, truthfully. It looks like we really get along now, and we kind of got along then, but it was just father-son thing, right? And it's hard being a dad. He had one way of teaching, which was Depression era, World War II veteran, and he gets this little spoiled little kind of puss guy like me. And he's like, they couldn't understand why we didn't enlist in the Marines when we were 17, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to enlist in the Marines. It was very, we weren't super contentious, but we still are a little contentious now, but he's awesome. I mean, just any time you get to be around somebody like that, and that generation of men and women, awesome, super awesome. So happy Father's Day to you. A little bit of there's so much more I could say about that guy. And I'm not going to, because we're going to do weather right now, but just know that dads do their best. They're not perfect, and they do what they know, right? So if you're raised by a Depression era family in the Depression, and you don't have money, and World War II comes along, and you lose a good percentage of your friends in battle, I mean, of course they're freaking dicks sometimes. I mean, of course they are. I had no strife, and I'm a dick sometimes, right? So, be easy on your dads. Okay, so here is the fire weather warning. It does pick up parts of Solano County, right out by kind of Napa, Lake Berryessa, Vacaville, Winters. This is not a heat event, okay? It may seem like a heat event, but it's not. It's a wind event, and this is going to start tonight, last through tomorrow night, and it really is going to have the main impact up in this corridor, right up in here, in the northern sector of the state. This is a recent satellite image. The snow in the mountains definitely going away, but that's still some. Southern Sierra Nevada still. Those mountains are a little higher. I don't. You probably knew that, but down by Whitney, those mountains tend to run 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet higher than a lot of our Sierra Nevada mountains. So that's probably why we're seeing more snow at higher elevations. No fog along the coast anywhere except down around San Diego. We can look at the current. I love this map only because, right, when you get a chance, go to my links. This thing will cover you on, and I'll just back it out again, but this is everywhere. I'm going to pull it all the way out because it's talk about a plethora of information and data it's got to populate. But basically all over the world, you can go in as close as you want. This is somewhere in Canada, 56 degrees, 34. It tells you everything you need to know about where you're thinking about going, where your relatives live, what the weather's like in that place in Canada. 37 degrees right now. That's cold, pretty far north. So anyway, check that out. That's a fun one. This is always fun. Surfline Camps, don't have to subscribe. I'm a premium user. They love me. I love them. This is Ocean Beach where there is zero fog right now. Refreshing the camera, and you can see a few people out on the beach, and it's a nice day, but it's breezy. We got some pretty good winds out there. This is Pleasure Point. I was actually down there Friday. There's a little south swell running. A lot of people surf now. Let's see if we can reload that. A lot of people surf now, so you see a lot of guys. This is a really easy break. Don't go there because they don't need more people, but it's a good little south swell. And then this is that break. I showed this to you the other day. It's Halama, which is down at Point Conception, which is just on your way just to Santa Barbara, maybe 45 minutes from Santa Barbara, an hour. And there's real wind up there. Winds are blowing about 25 knots. And then San Diego's got hazy conditions. This is Sunset Cliffs. And again, how cool is it in this day and age that we can bop around from camera to camera to camera? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think to me, that's amazing. In my day, you would go, if we wanted to go surfing, somebody would say, hey, I think there's swell down in Halama. We would jump in the car. I think there's swell down in Halama. And we would have coastal buoys and things like that. But you didn't have eyes on it because you can have swell, but if you don't have wind direction, the right wind direction, the swell doesn't matter. And so we had a lot of driving to do. Okay, so this is the surface map with surface temperatures, no conversions needed in Fahrenheit. And as we go to, this is tomorrow afternoon, see that heat, there is heat, but it's in the Central Valley. There's some wind up there, but all the heat stays kind of east of us. If you can see it, this is kind of, let's see if we can pull this in here. We're right. I messed that up. I lost it. Okay. Well, that didn't work out for us. But that system there, this area here, where we are, let me see if I can do it. Where's my square? There it is. Okay, we'll pull the square up. Sorry for the delay, guys. Here's the square. Here's kind of where we are. We're just in that area. We're on the coastal side, right in that middle section. And what you're seeing is all the heat staying well to the east of us. I mean, there will be some hot days, especially as we get into next weekend. But this weekend, or this week, and even then, the Bay Area stays kind of damaged, fire danger free. I'm just toggling through. You see that pattern's repeating itself. So we've got a pretty consistent, persistent onshore flow that's going to give us the same kind of weather pattern that we had last week, which was, right, we'll get some mid-80s, upper 80s. We'll see some mid-80s today, some upper 80s tomorrow, then back down a little bit. There is that red flag warning we talked about. We'll look at it one more time. This area here, it'll be a news story because what we do in news is try to get your attention with things. But in terms of the Bay Area, I mean, a red flag warning is a very serious thing. But in terms of the Bay Area, it looks like it's a minimal event. In other words, it's not really a red flag warning for us. It could turn into a fire weather watch, though. But it's not a heat event. It's about humidity and wind. And that'll come up tonight and tomorrow, maybe a little on Tuesday morning. And I think you really notice it out in Vacaville and Fairfield. I think you won't notice it at all in San Jose or in San Francisco. All right, there you go. That's Sunday. I hope you're having a good weekend. We'll see you back here probably tomorrow.